Soccer player Kaká's ex-wife, that's a weird name, says she divorced him because he was the perfect husband. Okay. Brazilian football star's divorce from his childhood sweetheart, Caroline Celico, in 2015 has been attributed to an intriguing reason. He was too perfect. So yeah, I guess their divorce took place in 2015, but what you'll notice is, I'm sure this isn't the first time you've heard about it. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm breaking the news to you. But this has kind of been resurfacing. Even articles are being written about it. It is news, certainly. So I believe, if I did my research correct, she has come out recently to make the statement that's why they eventually got divorced. He never betrayed me, she said. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. So he's known as a devout Christian, and during their marriage, Celico, a Brazilian socialite, joined the football stars church before becoming an evangelical pastor. She quit that role in 2010 and set up a charity. Yada, yada, yada. Here we go again. We got another Christian woman divorcing a man because he was too perfect for her. You know, we would expect different from a Christian woman or a religious woman. We would really hope that these Christian women weren't the type to divorce a man because he is too good. We would really hope these Christian women weren't the type who pursued men who may not be that great for them. It's like she didn't cite like, oh, I got bored, or attraction faded and I just wasn't into him anymore. She didn't even cite that as the reason. No, she says the reason is because he was too perfect. And ladies out here will try to gaslight men into thinking this doesn't happen. Oh, women don't leave marriages where the men are good. Women don't leave marriages where men are great. Men, because we'll cite the divorce statistics, and I'm sure you've heard it over and over again, but it's like, it's such a crazy stat though, isn't it? That women are initiating 70 to 90% of the divorces. And then women will hear that and they'll say, well, yeah, because men bad. Men are awful. They'll say, isn't that just a reflection of how bad men are? And then men will rebuttal that and will say, well, hold on. If you're trying to make men the issue here, let's isolate some variables. Let's go ahead and look at the divorce rate amongst homosexual marriages between men. And then let's look at the divorce rate between homosexual marriages between women. And what you notice and what you'll see is that homosexual marriages between men, it's kind of weird to even call them marriages, honestly. The divorce rate is the lowest. It's even lower than heterosexual divorces. And of course, it's lower than lesbian divorces. So we'll say this and we'll say, no, actually, what we actually think, what our hypothesis here, and is slowly turning into a theory because it doesn't really seem like anyone can prove it wrong. Our hypothesis actually is that women are getting bored and women are harder to please in long-term relationships than it is to please men. Men actually aren't the problem in this dynamic here. We actually suspect it's women. And we suspect they're harder to please than men. They get bored quicker. And they think the grass is greener. And they're a bit flaky and fickle. And we think that's why women are initiating the divorces infinitely more than men. And then we'll see things like this come out. And yes, this is purely anecdotal. This is one situation I'm talking about and referencing to. But if you've been on my channel for a little bit, you've noticed that we cover videos of women who are divorcing their husbands. They go on to regret it. And a lot of them even mention he was the good guy. He was a good guy. And I left him. And like I said, this woman isn't even referencing the fact that she got bored or attraction faded. It's like, no, she's referencing that he was too perfect. The fuck does that mean? He was too perfect. And with these modern day women, even though they might claim to be Christian, they still will divorce you for being too perfect. So this guy here, the salt of the earth on Twitter, he's got an essay here. I don't really want to read all of it, but we'll read some of it. His ex-wife reveals the reason she divorced him was because he was a perfect husband. In her own words, he never betrayed me, always treated me well, gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Okay, I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was that he was too perfect for me. That is the destiny of every perfect man. He will get cheated on or dumped. Why? Because when a man is perfect, it makes being with him boring. He's not wrong here. He's not wrong. Remember, women are dramatic by nature. True. So when a man is perfect, he denies her the drama she craves. When she's with her fellow women, all they're talking about is the drama the men in their lives bring. Now she'll feel left out because she got no drama to talk about. When I read this, when I hear this, when I think about this, I think, wow, this is childish. Grow up. And how about you stop pursuing men that give you this chaos, But I can't say that. I can't tell them to grow up because they won't. And this is not something I'm going to make it. This is not something we really can expect modern day women to do, is it? I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. To me, this just sounds like, oh, this is childish behavior. You can't stick with the person who's perfect for you. You have to then indulge and engage in lesser intelligent actions that are ultimately not going to be that great for your long-term well-being. I guess I can't say happiness because even this guy was perfect. She said, I was not happy because he was too perfect. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And yes, in a world where you have no-fault divorce and women are incentivized to divorce these men, this becomes a problem. Now, in the past, I think I've said, I don't really think no-fault divorce is the problem, but I am starting to actually, switch up my stance on that because it's just one day these women wake up and they come to this realization, you know what, this isn't meant to be. It's not meant to be. What did I say? They've looked into the magic 8-ball. They've shaken it. And that 8-ball spoke and said, nope, it is not in your future. Move on. This man is too perfect, and that's why you must divorce him. That's why you must leave him. So he says here, women by their nature are masochists. They derive pleasure from pain. A perfect man doesn't give pain, therefore he's no pleasure. She wants an imperfect man who will rile up her emotions, make her sad, angry, cry, then happy after. Explains to you why women last longer in toxic relationships than in stable relationships, why a woman will always go back to her toxic ex, even if he's damaged her countless times. Why? Because it's not perfect, so it's not boring. Learn or perish. There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that because you can do anything to a woman but bore her. I'm sure you've heard that saying. It's been repeated for a good reason. And what oftentimes you'll notice is that with these really good men, these perfect men, it creates a feeling of indifference with women. But when it comes to, and what's interesting is what you'll notice is that a lot of these women on Twitter and X, they can't stop talking about these red pill men. They can't stop talking about toxic men. You'll notice these women will make clip after clip, TikTok after TikTok, complaining about toxic men out here, complaining, asking, where are all the good men? They are not concerned actually about where the good men are. They simply want to talk about the men who they're frustrated with. They just want to talk about them. They aren't indifferent about these men, are they? Certainly not. It's the opposite of indifferent. They are feeling very different. They're feeling lots of feelings about these men. And a lot of these guys out here, it's like they will get divorced. We'll look at these stats, and women will just continue to say men must be so awful, right? We hear this all the time. That's what they say. Well, yeah, that's because these men suck. Blah, 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 blah. I really don't think so. I think the majority of men, matter of fact, I know the majority of men are good, virtuous men in many ways. Sure, they have their faults. No humans are perfect. But I would say a lot of men are pretty morally astute. They know right from wrong. They know when they do wrong, they hold themselves accountable. They're expected to. Life has held them accountable since they were young boys. And so I actually think, yeah, it's just a lot of men are good men. And you can't just look at the divorce stats and say, yeah, because men. Just simply not true. And our hypothesis over here is that women just leave when they get bored. And I think it's fair to say that some women gravitate towards this type of behavior more than others because things vary in all areas of life, in all aspects of life. There's nuances to everything. But it certainly can be said that the culture and the environment that these modern day women are brought up in absolutely gives room and actually sort of further pushes this issue and makes them engage in this type of behavior more, because what we don't have in the Western world, we don't have cultural shame. We don't really have religion. It's just a fucking free-for-all. And women are left to their instincts and tendencies and their behavior. And this is what we get a lot of times. And this is what it is. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to end the video. So if you enjoyed that, I would appreciate a subscription and leave a like. A lot of you guys watch these videos and you're not subscribed. Do me a favor. It helps me out a lot, man. So I need you to do that for me. But all right, I'll see you later.